We spend a lot of time thinking about what to say to women, but the truth of the matter is only a small fraction of what you're conveying to a woman at any particular moment is what you're saying. She's also responding to, and maybe primarily responding to, your body language, your eye contact, your tone of voice, your hand gestures, the rhythm of your speech. All of these things are saying so much about you. Yes, body language and subcommunication is incredibly important. And so you would think that one of the best things you can do in game is to improve your body language. Think about your subcommunication. Think about how you move. Think about how you stand. Think about your eye contact. But actually, this is one of the worst ideas, and it will probably make you worse. However, there is one really good way to improve your body language and subcommunication, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this video. So I know I come off as incredibly young and handsome, but the fact of the matter, the truth is, I've been doing and teaching game for a really long time. And in that time, I have tried almost everything to get across how to do game the right way. I have really experimented. And the truth is, oftentimes the thing that seems to make the most sense actually doesn't work at all. Let me give you a little example, tell you a little story. Around the year 2003 or so, one of my associates compiled the most comprehensive analysis of every body language gesture in game and how it works and how it doesn't work and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing that I have ever seen even to this date. And I thought it was fucking brilliant. And so did almost everybody else who read it. And you know what? It was completely right, completely accurate. It was great information. And so, of course, in teaching game, the first thing we did was to go out and tell students, do these body language things, don't do these body language things. Makes sense, right? You have a brilliant insight, you want to teach your brilliant insight. Here's what happened. As soon as we taught the students all the things not to do, you would think they would get rid of those behaviors. You know what actually happened? They did more of them. And when we told the students all the things to do, they either didn't implement it, or when they did implement it, it came off as fake and incongruent and worked even worse than if they hadn't done it. What the fuck? So what's going on here? Well, the problem is that body language and subcommunication don't exist in a vacuum. They come from somewhere. And where they come from is your belief system, your attitude, how you're feeling in a particular moment. They're a manifestation of something internal. And the first thing that happens when you make someone conscious of their body language, when you make someone think about their body language, is they actually become more insecure and they become more likely to exhibit negative body language traits. Little side note to this is actually why a really good way to tease a girl is actually to mention something in her body language, especially sort of an involuntary thing. Like if you say you blink a lot, that tends to make a girl feel self-conscious, as an example. Perhaps a more direct and more beginner-friendly example would be if you said to a girl, it's so cute the way you blush. But anyway, back to your body language. So what happened when we taught these guys all the body language things not to do is we made these guys massively, massively self-conscious, put them massively in their head, and they became way worse at game and actually flubbed almost everything. In order to further understand body language, let me tell you another funny, ironic story. Sometimes what will happen is I will tell a student specifically how to do an approach. And obviously, usually that goes well for two reasons. One, because they're going to do good things, I told them good things to do, but also because they have the confidence behind them that Todd told me to do this. This is the right advice. I'm going to do it with confidence. And very often in these cases, I will see students do blatantly bad body language or make blatantly bad game moves with full confidence, and guess what? Oftentimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't, because you know what? Bad game sometimes fails. But a lot of times, a shocking amount of the time, they do things so wrong with confidence, with belief, and it actually works. So what's the lesson in all this? Body language absolutely matters, but body language has to be taken holistically. One gesture by itself is neither make or break, not super good or bad in a vacuum. It's all about the overall conveyance. So if you seem very secure and relaxed and confident, and then you happen to make an odd hand mannerism, that's not going to blow up your game. Or if you are doing everything else right and one time you break eye contact in a weird way, the girl's not going to take that one little snippet and hold it against you and have it ruin your entire game. In essence, you could say that each body language gesture is just one more signal to the girl about what's going on inside of you, what you actually believe, how you actually feel, who you actually are, and she's taking them on net. Right? She's taking the mass of data and adding it all up. And one little data point here or there doesn't actually matter too much in the grand scheme of things. So what does this all mean for you on a practical level? Well, I started off this video by talking about how we used to teach body language that didn't work or actually backfired. Now let's talk about how we do teach body language now that actually does work. And here's the secret. We don't actually teach body language directly. We teach it indirectly. You see, since body language is a manifestation of what's going on inside of you, if you can get what's going on inside of you right, the body language usually just comes naturally. So if you genuinely, legitimately believe that when you talk to a girl, she's better off for you being there and that she would be worse off if you left, if you genuinely believe you're bringing more value to the conversation than she is and she would be lucky to be able to have a relationship with you, well, now you're not going to be nearly as reactive to every little thing. If she says one negative thing, it's not going to suddenly put you in your head and ruin your whole day. You're going to think, that was odd. And then you're just going to continue mostly unfazed. If you have the right belief system, your reactions, your body language, your gestures, your eye contact, your mannerisms, they're all going to naturally come into line with it. And again, even if they're a little bit off, like for example, the situation where I talked about where the students with full belief did bad body language, it still will generally mostly work. And the fact of the matter is, when you consider what is bad body language, it is actually literally bad simply because it is a manifestation of nervousness, negative emotions, etc. If you were to take a guy that has bad body language with women and you put him in a situation where he's utterly confident, where maybe he's in his area of expertise and he's the leader of a team, and you looked at his body language, he would probably look like a dramatically different person. And in fact, oftentimes, if someone has bad body language gestures that they do even when confident, if they do those bad body language gestures with women, it actually works, again, for the same reason that it tends to work when guys were doing bad body language. That was what they thought I had told them. So how do you improve your body language and subcommunication? Mostly you get your mind right and the body language will follow. That's going to do about 90 to 95% of it. However, there is one other thing you can add for a few quick fixes, or if you happen to know that you have inherent body language that's not the greatest. For example, these cases where I mentioned, even when you're confident, you just have some low value gestures, you just have some annoying body language mannerisms you'd like to get rid of. Here's how to handle those. It's very hard to stop doing an individual mannerism or gesture for a couple reasons. Number one, because that gesture probably serves a purpose for you or it fills a role in your communication. And so if you try and get rid of it without replacing it with something else, then you're just going to have a vacuum, or you're going to have an unfulfilled role either emotionally, or there's going to be like a pause or something like that. So the way to get rid of bad body language, similar to getting rid of a lot of habits, is don't try and eliminate it, try and replace it with something better. So for example, if let's say you have some very kind of needy hand gestures that aren't the greatest, or let's say maybe you tend to stand with like a closed positioning and that's like your normal way and it looks a little bit nervous. One great solution for this, and this is something I learned early on in game, is take your thumbs, put them in the back pockets of your jeans, and just stand that way when you're talking. It's going to force you to keep your hands calm, and it's also going to force nice, good, upright, confident posture. So replace this one body language mannerism, replace this one thing with something better. The other reason this works, by the way, is that the brain has a very hard time dealing with negatives, right? If I say, don't think of a purple elephant, you just thought of a purple elephant. Or if you were to say to a girl, we're not going home together tonight, she's imagining going home with you, right? The brain doesn't deal very well with negatives. So if you think, stop moving my hands around, your brain pictures yourself, visualizes moving your hands around. So don't think about the thing you want to stop doing, think about something else you'd like to do instead. So that'll work for some small body language fixes, but remember, if you fix your hand position, but overall you still come off as nervous because you still have nervous beliefs and a negative association, a negative view of the entire interaction, fixing that one body language thing will not have helped you very much. Most of your body language is this idea that the self is always coming through. Most of your body language is a reflection of how you feel internally. If you change your beliefs, it changes your emotions. You change your emotions, it changes the actions. So work on changing your beliefs about the situation and your body language will follow. So that's the video. In the end, it's a pretty simple concept, but I think it's absolutely critical because so many people do this wrong. Please, please, please get your body language handled, but do it the right way, do it the effective way, because I want to see you go out there and get real results. Pretty simple concept in the end. Whatever you want out here, do it in here first, and it's going to work a lot better. Hope you like that. Be sure and like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions or feedback. See you on the next video. Take care.